That jQuery from today.
No, no. How come jQuery will come without JavaScript? I think I said I will start JavaScript. Okay. So before going for JavaScript, there are a few concepts which are left from the CSS. Like someone have raised might be you only have raised a question about the positioning.
Yeah, I asked about the positioning, one example also.
Let me take positioning first.
Are you recording the session, sir?
Yeah, yeah. I hope I am. Yeah, it's getting recorded.
Yes, it's recording.
So, what is the meaning of positioning? Positioning is something placing the elements on screen. So basically, we have four important types of positioning in CSS. One is static, and another one is relative, and another one is fixed, and another one is absolute. So static is something which is by default. If you don't specify any positioning, then by default it will be covered with respective to the static one. Let me take one example on each of them so that it will be more clear to you. And here I'm going to go with the style tag, and close of style tag. And in this one, I'm going to take one div, within that another div, within that another span, close of span, close of div, another number of openings and number of closings are also equal.
Hello?
Yeah. So this is one div. Let me name this div as class over here, giving it as me, and here father, just giving the names over here. This is the ancestor of this div. So grandfather. So nothing is there, just element within the element. So here I need to write some text. This is from me. And here this is from father. And here this is from grandfather. And here let me write close of father. And this will be the, don't get confused. If you are getting confused, I will change the text in this one. So we don't have any complication in this, because what I did over here is, in short, I myself, means this is from me, is surrounded with two divs. One is the ancestor of that one. So this is from me is surrounded with, this is from father, and that is surrounded with, this is from grandfather. And the remaining are nothing but the close and all. So yeah, let me give some color. as it is a class. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply the CSS on this is from me. Just I'm writing a simple CSS background as light blue. Okay, now let me show you something. So here we go. Computed. So if you scroll down, by default every element will be applied with respective to the CSS. If you write or you won't write, some CSS will get applied on that. So MNO, if you see, so the position has been applied as static over here. We have not written anything like position as static or something. It got applied by default. So static is nothing but a default positioning which is defined by the positioning tag and defined by DOM elements, document object, which is DOM is nothing but your window, this one. Okay, so it's a default element. If you don't define anything, it is called as a static one. So whenever you go with positioning is having four different types of sub elements or the sub attributes, you can say. One is top, one is bottom, one is left, and another one is right. So this is similar to somewhat padding, but this comes with positioning as well. So if you don't define anything, anyhow by default it is something so called by default it is static only. And let me border this one as well. Okay, so this the default arrangement of element is nothing but the static. So let me go to the next one. Next one is nothing but let me consider the second one. Let me relative. Let me make it.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
No, I didn't get this topic, so can you repeat me once again?
Static is nothing but it's a default one which will set the value. The elements which you are displaying, either it is a table or whatever it might be. The order, the default order is known as a static order.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so static will be clear to you. Have some patience. Let me complete it so that things will get more clear to you. So can you please put on mute? I'm getting some distortion here. The second point which I want to tell you over here is like relative. Relative is something, it will take some its own position. While taking a position, it can override the existing one as well. For example, if I'm giving as 10 pixel border style as solid and position as relative. Let me reduce this to 5. pixel, still 3 pixel, and top left as 1 pixel. So relative means it will take a position at the relative window with respective to your element. It will not bother whether it is overriding the other element or collapsing the other element. For example, when you take your submenu, for submenu case you have specified it as relative. So what was happening with the submenu? Even though if, if you have some other text below, still your submenu is getting displayed over there, like Amazon.in is there. So you can see that this is nothing but the submenu. Even though the elements are lying at the back end, still you are able to drop your drop down over here, and you can see the content of this drop down. So in this is what use of submenu. It will not bother whether it is overriding something or uh, whether the adjacent element is getting overridden or collapsed with this one. For example, here you can see that it is collapsing the other one. So it is overriding the normal flow. You can say, let me, and it is having top, bottom, left. If you don't define anything, it will be by default the same auto. So let me give one over here, and let me increase the width as well. That will be a good one. So I'm trying to increase the width of this div. I think I should take care of others as well, because this is not a single element, it is wrapped with some other one. So in short, what is relative means it will take its relative position without bothering about its adjacent element. Okay? Yeah, you can ask if you have any questions now. At the last, I will explain you the clear-cut difference between all. And so let me summarize. So static is something which is a default behavior of your window. The elements which will be holding as specified by you in the default way. So the static will come into picture, and the normal order of the element is known as static. For example, you have one table here, and then you have some content next to the table, div is there, or xyz. Or else you can take a registration form where you have list of fields, and the way the fields are getting displayed without bothering about positioning and all, without specifying any positioning, the static will come into picture over there. And the second one is nothing but the relative one. So relative is something, it will be overriding the existing one and displaying the next one. So it will least bother about whether it is overriding the next element or what it is. It will not care about it. See, it has just overridden that one. So this is nothing but the relative. And the next one is nothing but fixed. Is fixed. In order to explain fixed, let me go with one more CSS property here. Dot, let me take grandfather. Uh, why I'm taking dot? Because it is a class, and in this one, let me increase the background. Let me change the background color. Background as light yellow. So you can see the light yellow color. It's not clear. Let me remove this light and make it yellow. Okay. And let me increase the width of this one. Width of this is like 400 pixel, and height of this is 1200 pixel, and position of this is any position you can take, static or absolute or XYZ. So you can see that I have scrolled the window, still the data is fixed. Let me put it down something so that it will be more clear to you. Let me make it 100. So this will be very much useful to you when you have something like this, like Flipkart, flipkart.com. So upper one is the search menu. Even though you are I'm sorry, scrolling down, still you can see the search bar over there. So for this kind of purpose, to show your cart or anything it might be, you can use this one. For example, down the line you have so many items, but still your this bar remains over there. So this is what a use of fixed. It will be fixed with respective to the position. And it is having many usage. If sometimes the cart you want to display throughout the window or XYZ. Yeah, do you have any questions?
Yes, sir.
So let me go with the next one. That is nothing but, let me remove this. Yeah. Now I'm going with the next one is static fixed absolute, and I'm going to remove this one. Absolute means it will just club all the spaces and it will just combine all the things in one go. Let me make this a bit complicated so that it will be more clear to you. And here we go. Position as 1 pixel. So let me summarize all these four and then let me ask some questions to you because you people are not have Sweta we're having some questions, then I will answer to that. So
Okay, sir.
this concept is a very important concept for interview perspective also. So the positioning is something which relates to displaying a data on screen. The way the data is getting displayed till now is nothing but a static way. That is not, which is nothing but a default way. For every element, it will be having its own defined attributes by default, its own predefined CSS by default, font size, everything will be there for every element. So in the same way, its positioning is also defined, and that positioning comes for the static one. So normal code which we have written till now, that is nothing but a static positioning. And the second one is nothing but relative positioning. Relative positioning is something which overrides if required. For example, I have given a left padding, left direction. So this is, as I said you that might be I missed this point. Positioning is having four directions within itself. That is nothing but top. I missed the word direction over there. Bottom and left and right. So when you go with relative one, it will be least bothered whether it is overriding the its ancestor element or any other element it might be. So it will just override that one. The best example is drop down menu for that. And the next one is nothing but fixed. Fixed means it will be fixed to the screen. For example, on this screen you want something to be displayed at this point, it will be fixed to this point only, even though you are scrolling down or scrolling up. So the one example which I have given to you is the menu bar. And absolute is something which will be narrowing the spaces and clubbing with each other. So these are the four positionings we have. Yeah, you can proceed now. Yes, Sweta.
So you said the direction measure. Then where are you using the direction and the absolute one?
Okay. So direction, it's your call. If you want, you can use it. If you don't call this one, by default, it will be so auto.
And the absolute and the fixed is somewhat like the same thing or different thing because in this example, the absolute and the fixed is like the same thing. It's like overriding.
Uh, Fixed is something which will be fixed to the screen. Let me go
Yes.
for that. Even though you are scrolling it up and down, it will be at the same position. but
Mm-hmm.
absolute is different. Absolute
Okay.
will be, you will not be scrolling up and down. So the one example, this is what one example we have. And another example is like Gmail. If you have seen Gmail or YouTube videos, you will be having this scroller. Even though you scroll down, your menu bar and this search bar will remain at the same point. So this is a use of the fixed one. And absolute is something which will be collapsing your elements and joining inter together.
So can you solve the code in a single website, right?
Yes, depending upon the requirement, mostly we go for the fixed one and relative one. We don't go for static because it is by default static only. And absolute also very rarely we go for, but relative and fixed is the one which we frequently use in our websites. Already we have used in the pre-classes also.
And coming to relative example, can you show one example like website of the relative ones here?
Sure. So this is a relative. Relative means it will just override the backend. Okay. When you hover over here, you have displayed the menu, drop down menu. In Let me open the assignment which you have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you see
Mm-hmm.
the properties of the CSS, let me open the source code of this. So by default, you have specified this one as absolute in this case, position as absolute. So let's see if you define the same thing as relative, what happens. Submenu class, position is. So if you don't define absolute, then what is happening? It is accessing the div, but at the same region it is accessing. So let me define this one as relative. It is taking at the relative position over there. Okay. So let me summarize these points. Still, if you have confusion. So the fixed is the one which is, I hope it is clear to you. The fixed one.
Yeah, the fixed one is clear to me.
Huh. Relative is nothing but it will override the natural flow. Natural flow means whatever elements you have here. For example, here you are overriding this one. If you go with the natural means static. Static, you can't override it, correct? it,
Yes.
it will be a default order over there. When it comes to relative, then you can override that one. Okay, you do some analysis on this one. It's not a simple thing which goes into your mind in a single class. Do some analysis, read some blogs. Still, if you have confusion, then we will see about this one.
Okay.
width equals to, okay. So let me get into the bootstrap, and from tomorrow we will be starting JavaScript, jQuery, JSON, Ajax. These are the things which we can complete in 2 classes or max 3 classes, one topic. So once we start, so let me show you the content of that one. Here we are going to deal with the functions basically. So how to write a function using a JavaScript, and how to fill the values on the flow that we are going to, what are the different types of variables, local, global, automatic, events. This point is very important in the entire, on change, on click, on mouse over, on key down, on load. And just like Java, we have some exception handling in this one as well. And variable declaration is also here, string, arrays, integer, switch expression, and then we will be starting jQuery, and then we come back to the JSON. So we have jQuery with us. So the same events which we have learned with the JavaScript, once again we will be learning in the jQuery as well. So once we are good with the jQuery, then we'll come back over here and we will go through the JSON context. What exactly the JSON means, all these things we will be learning about that. And after that we will be clubbing this Ajax, JavaScript and this. And at the last I will take AngularJS. AngularJS is a emerging technology nowadays. Earlier there was a boom for the jQuery. Now there is a good market for the AngularJS. Very good market, not only good. So what made AngularJS so popular? All these things we are going to learn in this one as well. So let me get into the Bootstrap. So have you tried to work on the Bootstrap? On that day I have shown some examples.
Just watching, but I couldn't try. We will try this class maybe.
Okay, no problem. Let me put this Bootstrap. So today we are going to deal this Bootstrap in detail. So what exactly the Bootstrap means? First of all, you have to download the Bootstrap from Get Bootstrap. So Bootstrap is nothing but external CSS plugin. By using a concept of Bootstrap, the pain of developing a website will be reduced. Because if you develop a website, you have to deal with classes. The classes includes the position, display properties, color, this, that, and all, many more things. So that you have to handle for every HTML file, and it's a very painful activity for the designers. So in order to address that issue, what the people have done, they have released a plugin in the market, so called Bootstrap plugin. So either you can download the source code or SAS, better you download this one or this one. Okay, once you download it, you will get a plugin like Bootstrap. I think I have shown you how to download also. So
Yes, sir.
let me get into the practical implementation now. So in order to learn Bootstrap, the one advantage of Bootstrap is it is compatible with both mobile as well as your desktop version. That is nothing but your laptops, Macs and all. For both it will be supporting in the sense the same look and feel it will give. So you can say it like system independent in short. And it has predefined content within it. For example, if you're using grids in your project, grids is nothing but your arrangement of your tables, divs and all. So when you're dealing with each and every cells, then you can go with this one. So grid is quite heavy. Let me go with the lightest one first. So I have explained you about the tables. For example, you have a table like this. Let me take one table quickly. TRTD. So here I have some dummy data in it and I am closing it. Let me differentiate in terms of numbers and let me run this. Let me give border. So this is what table we have. Now if you want to design this table like cell spacing, cell padding, the font size, color and all, what do you need? You need to write the CSS.
Plugin.
In order to avoid that, what is the substitute way? Simply use the existing CSS over here. What is the name of that CSS? Bootstrap.css. Let me check. So where I have saved this one, there I need to check whether this CSS is existing or not. So here I'm saving this in morning batch and I don't find this CSS here. So let me copy this CSS outside and paste it over here. So it should be in the same place. Let me check. How to know whether that CSS is loaded or not? Go to the source and check. It has not yet loaded. What is the problem with this? The problem with syntax. I have a problem of remembering this syntax. What is that link href type? I think type equal to CSS by text or what?
Table. Tables.
What is that?
Table. Because when you see, have seen that in the CSS, I mean, sorry, Bootstrap, it was the table.
Yeah, that is fine, but bootstrap. The problem is first if the plugin get loaded over here, then you can do whatever you want. Correct? Yeah, the CSS is not loaded
Mm,
yet. So bootstrap dot CSS. Type equal to text by CSS or CSS by text.
text by CSS.
Okay. Let me check the syntax. Link rel equal to style, style sheet href equals to this one. Now let me come back over here. Now you can see that this got loaded. So once this got loaded, we can start our journey from here. Even you can see that the so what I said you, every element will have its own predefined properties. So in the same way, Bootstrap also, for every element, it will be having its own predefined properties. So that look and feel of the table also got changed. Let me come back to the website and go one by one. So here we go with the grid one. So if you want to apply any property over here, then you have to go with this class, row and all. Use class equals to container. So I didn't apply any padding or something, but still I have used a predefined class container. So when you check the properties of the Bootstrap, in that you will find a class over there which is having a container. Name is container. So you can check it over here. Let me open that Bootstrap plugin. Container. You can see that if you by default they have given this one. So because of this, it has taken a distance over there. Now here we go with body copy and many more things. So just for the stripped rows, if you want any row to be stripped over there, use this particular class over there. One.html. We need to check it is for tr. So dot is nothing but class. Table stripped row, add zebra strip here. Okay, so this we need to apply at the table level. So how to use this one, if you learn, no, then it will be pretty easy. Okay, so table, let me remove this border. So this is what a syntax which we have to use it over there. Here you can see the difference, clear cut difference you can find over here. So this is what advantage of using Bootstrap. If you don't want to use Bootstrap, what you can do simple is use the Bootstrap property in your class. The same thing you can write in your own way. What was that? Table stripped class. You can check that one. You can specify in your own way. Okay, this relationships we have learned. This within this within this. So odd, so odd numbers got highlighted. 1 3, 5. If you specify even over here, let me check. Now the even numbers got highlighted. So if you are using something, what I believe, you should check it from top to bottom. If something is implemented as a default one, they have implemented by, they have written some code, you can just learn from that code. So in this way you can, this is what about the table. Now you can go with buttons, images is also having, for example, this kind of images you want, total round, this you can get from the border radius as well, but still if you want you can specify it over here by using a specific classes and all. So I suggest you to follow this one and practice this all. This is a very good concept. This will help you a lot if you are looking for development of any website. So you don't have to take a pain of writing the CSS for each and every element. You can go ahead with the existing CSS. You can override that CSS. You can change that CSS if you're not agreed with that, and you can complete that one. So, do you have any questions?
No, sir.
Wh- What about my assignment I have given you on Saturday? I said you to complete it, complete the website of Aurora Engineering College.